Hello my friends, welcome back to another painting with Harold, and tonight I am going to try something new again. This has kind of been stuck in my head and I am going to attempt to put it on canvas. Hopefully it turns out. If not, you won't see this video. I'm going to talk just like it is going to come out in case it does. What I have here is an 11 by 14 canvas that's turned on landscape, and my colors, I will go ahead and show you those. Tonight the colors I'm going to be using are titanium white, starting here, phthalo blue, cad yellow, Indian yellow, yellow ochre, sap green, dark sienna, Van Dyke brown, alizarin crimson, and that evil bright red that I almost just got on my finger. You can see how much of each I have out. It's not much paint out at all. In fact, it's probably a little too much for this canvas. If you decide to paint this painting, you can probably get away with, I know, at least half the titanium white. I probably will start with about half the amount I got out on all of them, to be honest. And you can see how I took my knife, like I've shown in several videos, and I pull those colors out, being careful to wipe the knife off before going into another color to keep from cross-contaminating the colors. But this painting that I want to try to do tonight is a little scene that is just a little country barn that's sitting in a field in a pasture with trees in the backdrop and a little meadow in front of it with a fence that runs along the outer perimeter, or the front down here in our foreground. And there's some distant trees in the back, and it's a real pretty sky. It's a real light colored blue sky with a few clouds, and there is in my mind I see like an old silo back here that, you know, may hold grain or something. Depending on my confidence level, I don't know if I'll put that in or not. We'll see as we go along. I think the first thing we're going to do is, and I'm going to try to show you this, I'm going to take a 1-inch brush, just a 1-inch brush, and I'm going to go up to my blue, and I'm just going to tap just a little, very, very little blue, phthalo blue on my brush. I mean, it's very little. You can see it's not much at all. Then I'm going to just start in a corner over here and a corner over here, and you can see how light that color is. I mean, I just want a very little bit of color in the sky, and I'll even get just a little bit more. And I'm just scrubbing it in up here. I don't need to do the X strokes right now because of the way I want this sky shaped. So you can see I'm kind of scraping it at an angle here. I don't even know that there's enough color on here to do the X strokes. But I just want a couple darker spots and a few lighter spots. But at most part, I want this sky to be more light, colored blue. I do not want I don't really want a dark sky in this painting. I want it to be light. Something about like that. Let me adjust the lights to see if that'll help the colors any at all. Let's see. All right. That may be better if I get some on the back. Well, it's too dark, too light. I'm looking at a very small monitor here. I think I'll try that. And if this don't work out, I won't use this setting again. That's all I'm doing is just rubbing that little bit of color across the top. Now I will pick up just a tad more just to darken the corner. And even at that, I don't want these corners real dark. I mean, I know they're supposed to draw the eye, but in this painting, I don't think we'll have a problem with that. Okay, now I am going to grab a napkin and knock as much of this color out as I can. There won't be a lot to knock out here, trust me. Excuse me. And I am going to use this same 1-inch brush, and I am going to go in and the same way I just loaded my brush for the blue, I'm going to go in and I'm going to tap some white, same way, just straight in, just tap it on. Now I did pick up more white than I did blue, but even at that, these clouds are going to be, they're going to be real loose clouds. They're going to be like little wispy clouds. And to do these, you just basically act like you don't care how they turn out. So you just come up and just touch in the sky. And then reload your brush and do it again. Just touch. That's all we're doing. Until we get them, till we get a couple up here that's good enough light on them that we can really make them out real good. You know, just 2 or 3 times just to make them stand out. And the reason they're not standing out real good is because we don't have a lot of blue on the canvas. So without a lot of color on the canvas, it's really hard to make them just jump out at you. And all we're going to do to them is just blend across. That's all we're going to do to them. We're not going to blend out the bottoms or anything. We're going to leave them just like that. Now I know they're not very noticeable, but they're there. Alright, I'll knock out some more paint out of this same brush. And the same way we've been loading that brush, we're going to go right into just a very little, I mean very little, dark sienna. In fact, when you load the brush, you can tap it, because you've got some liquid white in it. You can sit there and tap it on your palette until it starts getting some of the paint out. And then we want to come right up here, and anywhere you want to start, I'm going to start about middle ways. And I'm going to come up here and just lightly tap across here. And you can see it's just barely showing up. And that's what we're looking for. We just want something that has some sort of tree shape way off in our distance back here. Just way back in the distance. And you just make one a little higher than another. We just don't want them all to be the same height. And you don't have to carry this all the way across if you don't want to, because we're gonna put some more clouds in. More clouds. We're gonna put some more trees in here. But now we do want these trees to appear way in the background, and we do want them light. So we're gonna make sure that what we do is, I'll show you here just a second. We're gonna clean this brush. I'm gonna say about like that should be fine. In fact, that may be a little dark. All right, let me see if I can get these lights adjusted. I'm afraid that they're going to not work right. Ooh. Let's try that one. That's city, right there. Let's try that. We may just have to keep tapping lightly on these to get them to fade some. And if we do, that's fine. But as we work down, you knock some of this color out. You go there and touch your white again, just barely touch it. And come in here along the bottom here and just start working that white in. And that'll start toning it down some. And then along the bottom, we'll create like a little mist for us. We just want to soften this up, just have very little paint and just have it soft as we can get it across here and still maintain a kind of a misty, far away look. And that'll add to our depth here in a little bit. About like so. Then you could just kind of lightly blend across and just push them down into the painting. About like so. That's all we wanted, just little distant trees. It's just something that represents trees way off in the distance. Now we'll take our script liner, but now keep in mind that these are far away. So we don't want no real distinct tree trunks back here. We just want little indications here and there, just enough that we can tell they are tree trunks. And then I'll show you what to do in this next step that'll even tone them down some so they don't show up too good. I mean, we want to see them, but we don't really want to focus on them, if that makes sense. We don't want our eye to just say, hey, look at there. But if we do catch a glimpse of them in our painting, and so you just come up and just lightly tap them, and they'll slightly disappear. But now they're still there. I don't know if you can see them on camera or not, but I can still see them from here. They're still there. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to pick up just a little, very, very little of the sap green and mix it with some dark sienna, just a little bit. We want the color to be an off green, but we don't want it so bright that it that it's so bright of a green that it just screams green. And then we can come up here and just start tapping in a color with our tree shapes. And this color is actually going to be a little darker, so it's going to appear closer to us. And don't forget, we had a layer of mist down here. So that mist is really going to help separate the tree lines. It'll show distance between this tree line and that tree line. So you want to kind of vary your heights. You know, you want some low spots in there that'll still let your mist show through. But these trees here are very far off as well. We don't want them real well defined. We just want a indication of some trees and bushes back here, way off in the distance, about like so, just to show that they're there. But now you can see little areas of that mist through there that make it look far off. And the more you keep working it, the softer they'll get. And the softer they get, the better it is. Because now we're fixing to create another layer of mist right here at the bottom of these trees. And you just want to keep tapping them. You just keep tapping. That's all you got to do. That's all this is. It's not a sliding of the brush in any kind of way. It's just a tapping motion. That's all it is. Real loose. Okay, then you want to pick up your script liner brush again. And we're going to do the same thing that we just did up top. And we're going to go right through that brown and that green that mixed together, that dark sienna that just mixed together while we made this. And we're going to come back here and just put in some just tree trunks that, you know, they don't all have to be straight. You can do some different heights and put some crooked, some straight, some leaning. Just, you know, try to make it look as natural as you can, because you know how that stuff grows in the wild. It's never, well, I won't say it's never perfect, but because it can be. But you know how you see limbs and trunks growing in all different directions. All right, now to hide some of those, clean off that brush. To hide some of those, same way, just come up and lightly tap them, very lightly, and it'll just push them right down into those trees. It'll just set them right down in them. Now they're still noticeable, but they're not. I mean, it's just enough to let you know that is trees back there. And that's all you want. All right, now come over and tap in your white again. And you can come across the bottom and just put some of that white paint down. And just tap across the bottom. Create that mist. And the closer we're getting to us, the more of the mist we want to recognize. Because we are actually getting closer to ourselves here. Or closer to where we're viewing the painting from. So about like that's all we need. Just here and there you can run it up into the trees just to soften them. And then very lightly blend that color out. Get that little hair off there. Alright, then we'll knock some of this paint out. We're still not going to wash this brush. We're just going to knock some of the color out right now. Then, this is when it gets kind of interesting and kind of fun. We want to All right, well, let me show you this. We're going to do this a little different. Okay, we're going this time. Let me get it to where you guys can see it. All right, this time we're going to go into the dark sienna, but we're going to pull it down like so on both sides, just like so. We want the brush loaded on both sides, but then we want to open the bristles just by pushing in. And I'll show you why we did that. Because now we're coming a little closer. We want these to be darker. So we're going to come in about right here and just push up. Just push up, just like so, to give yourself a whole lot different kind of tree shape. And then just come across the canvas, kind of a sideways type motion, and just kind of work these trees. See how I got that brush leaned over? Just kind of work these trees. Have some shorter, some taller. Up here you can make one taller. I mean, this is basically just touching them. All right, and we're killing a lot of the ones we just made. But in places where we don't, we'll still see them. Even though we're seeing through these little spots, we still know they're back there. And even if we don't see them, we know they're back there. But that's all we're looking for right now, is just the color, basically, is all we're really looking for. And the shape isn't as important, because when we come back to highlight, we can create some more shapes if we need to. But what we do want is we want to be able to see this color back here, and we want to know it's back here, because we are closer now. So these, when we start working with these, they're gonna have a little more detail. And we did cover up a bunch of them, but we know they're back there, so that's all that matters. And we'll come in here and soften some of this down. But it's some of it, we want to leave it just like it is. Just like so. Alright, then bring your brush back through again. And at the bottom of these, we want to come in and just push up. Just push up, just like that. Not push in and pull up, just push in. Let the bristles just bend, and you'll see what it's doing. It's just putting you a little brush mark here at the bottom of these trees, almost like little bushes and blades of grass. But we just want something down here at the base that represents bushes or whatever we decide to make them. They'll probably be bushes, but it gives us that color. All right, we're finally going to wash this brush, and we're going to pick up our script liner one more time, and we're going to go through the same color one more time. And we're going to come right in here and put us this time we can put us some branches and trunks and whatever else we want to add now. Because when we get ready to highlight, we may lose a lot of these. And if we do, that's all fine. No big deal. just like so. Just enough to let you know they're there. Just like that. Okay. Now while that brush is soaking in the thinner, I'm going to take another 1-inch brush and I'm going to put just a little thinner on it. Very little. And I am going to go right into my cad yellow and my sap green, and I'm going to bring them two colors together and just tap them on the brush just like so. That's all I'm going to do. I don't want a real bright green and I don't want a real bright yellow. So I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to start just very, very easily tapping these colors right on my trees. Just very gently. Now if your paint's not wanting to come off, see if you got enough thinner on your brush, and if you don't, you can add just a little more. But you know, don't put too much, because if you put too much, it's going to want to get away from you. Then over here on this one, we'll add just a little highlight on him. And the one thing we want to make sure while highlighting these trees is that we don't kill all our dark. I'll probably show them how my wife made me a shirt that says that. And we can pick us up a little of the yellow ochre. Come up, give him a little highlight. I don't really want this color to look too much like fall. I want it to kind of look like, you know, fall just happened and it's fixing to be over. And maybe spring is on the way, but just not close enough yet that we can really tell. Because that's kind of what it's like around here right now, where I live. I mean, you know, the first day of spring, it was cold as, it was cold. And then I think tomorrow we're expecting thunderstorms and I think I heard somebody say close to 80 degrees. And I'm like, wow, it's going to be quite the change. That kind of weather makes people sick though, and that's not good. Alright, then we're gonna keep adding this color. I needed to put just a little bit more green down here. Maybe into this yellow ochre a little. Kind of mix the two, that way it'll look a little different. Then come in here with a little green. I'll pick up a little more yellow. I'll come out here on this one. About like so. There may be just a little bit of yellow ochre tree. I mean, oh crap, I can't even say it now. Lizard crimson colored trees left with the darker red leaves or maroon looking leaves that's trying to change. We'll add one of them. It'll be alright as long as we keep yellow in it. And maybe a little green. You mix them too much together and it'll turn brown on you. That alizarin crimson and green together, it'll turn green. So you kind of got to be careful there. All right, then we'll come across here and just tap in a few places. Just don't kill all the dark. Leave some dark down at the bottom of these trees. Because we're fixing to go into that little bush area that we just created. And for that, we're going to use green. And we'll pick up just a little bit of yellow ochre. And a little bit of cad yellow. And I'm loading the brush the same way, just straight tapping in on that corner. Then we'll just come in here and create some bushes that just sit here. Just come down from the trees a little bit. Don't, give yourself a raw dark up there, because we always need that dark. You don't have to leave a lot sometimes, but you do need to leave some. Because, see, that dark is your separator. And it gives you when you come down here with a different color, it gives you another dimension in your whole painting. It just pulls these little bushes forward, which creates depth behind them. So it helps. All right, and we'll get just a little bit of clean yellow ochre. And this will be a good color changer. Let's come into a little bit of white and add to this color. That'll make one zing. See how that indication of color difference right there just stands out? It's almost like you can't see the green at all. So we'll come back and touch a little green on it here and there. And just that little color change helps that much. And we can pick up a little Indian yellow. And just a pin drop of bright red. Just enough to add a flavor. Just, maybe a little blue even. Because blue is going to give us a whole new color green. A little bit more vibrant green. And we'll come out the rest of the way just like so. Just tapping at the bottom across here. And just like that, we have a row of trees. Drinking cold drink. It is Pepsi. Strong Pepsi at that. Okay, we got us a nice little cluster of trees there. Some of the distant trees are showing now, and it just looks like it's going so far back. It looks like it could be 30, 40 miles back through there. But now, I'm not going to try to do most of this with the knife. I'm just not going to try it. I'm going to try to do little brushes, because I think I'd have a lot more detail that way. But what I am going to do, I'm going to use a 2-inch brush. And I'm going to take this 2-inch brush, and all I'm doing with it is right here where I have my Van Dyke brown, is I'm going to pull some of this Van Dyke brown down and some of the dark sienna together and mix them on the brush. And I'm going to pull them until I get the colors the way I want them. And I'm just going to take and push it forward like we did in that last painting, if you saw it. Where we push up on the brush and it gives us that little ridge. And that's all I'm doing right here. creating that little ridge of paint, because I'm fixing to come across here and I'm fixing to fill the whole bottom of this canvas up with this color, because we need dark. Now I'm gonna, within the next couple paintings, I'm gonna try real hard to do a painting using the liquid black, because I've noticed not many people do paintings using the liquid black, and I've used it several times, and it is so good for creating dark, but it's also good for creating like little misty, foggy type scenes. So I may try to come up with something that we can do one of those scenes on, and we may just make us one. And you know, if you want to paint along, fine, or you know, if you want to watch the video after it's done, which you know, that allows you to pause the video and play back. And you don't have to ask anybody for permission to do any of my paintings. If you see a painting I'm doing and you want to do it, have at it. I mean, that's what it's all about. Feel free to, any painting you see of mine, feel free to do it. And I think a lot of the YouTube people out there, or the people that are painting on social media, I think they feel the same way. It's just that, you know, the one thing that most of us ask is, give us credit for our work. That's all we ask. Just give us credit. You know, say this is a painting I saw on Paint with Harold or Paint with whoever. This is my version of it. I'd love to see y'all's version of it. I really would. All right, I'm gonna drop that brush in the thinner, and it is time to either make a painting or break a painting. And with that said, I'm gonna go straight into getting me one of my erasers here, one of my paint erasers. And I'm gonna come right up here. Now I want this, let's come here. I'm about halfway over to the right, just a little. I'm gonna come into this canvas, and I'm gonna come down at an angle, kind of slightly. It don't have to be much of one, but I want just a little bit of an angle for the roof there. And I want to bring it this way. I want to bring this roof down, like so. About like that. Actually, I don't think that's right. I think I'd rather have it. I think I'd rather have it going up to close that off, like so. Yeah. So let's bring it like that. And like that. I like that better. Yeah. Alright. Then we'll bring this side down. At an angle out here. About like so. So it's going to have to be at least that much. Probably a little more. About like so. Then we'll pull this side down. And we'll pull this side down. We'll pull this corner in like so. should have made that roof a little longer. I'll pull this side down. And we'll bring this corner up to there. And we will bring this corner across, which is too tall. So let's go back up there to this height. And we can fix that when we get to doing our highlights and all. About like so. That's a little barn shape. If you see how I did that, just kind of drew it out. Now you can go to working on perspective as you know, the more you paint, because if you eyeball it and it don't look right, you can always add a little more straight line to it here and there. But now I'm gonna come up with the small knife, and I'm just gonna come in here and scrape out as much of this paint as I can. We ain't gonna have to scrape a lot of it out because the color we're gonna be using is Van Dyke Brown, and it'll cover that little bit of green that's in there. But we wanna get as much of it out as we can to keep from having too much trouble. Roof, about like so. I'm not 100% happy with that. I really ain't. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this side down just a little bit more, then go back, then we'll bring this side down right there, then bring this over to here, and then carry it back at an angle like so. Yeah, I like that better. Bring this one back and down, like so. And actually this one can come down just a little bit, about like so. Alright, now I'm going to use to color this in. I'm going to use a little flat brush. This is a number 4 flat. Some people call them brights, but it's just a little number 4. I call them flats. Some people call them brights. So I guess it really depends on what you want to call it. But anyway, we'll come up to the canvas here, and I'm going to start putting this color in. And this is just a dark color, just to put our darks in, just to let us know where all our shapes and stuff are. And like I said, this is when we actually going to go to start making the barn itself. What we just did, the little tracing, that was just kind of like a layout of where we think it should be. But once we get our color on, that's when we really know where everything's supposed to be, where everything's actually going. just like so. I'm going to pick this up a little more. We'll come along this line out here. Now, this line out here is going to be our eave. And we already know there's going to be some darkness under it. But that darkness we can put in once we start doing our highlights. So we don't have to worry a ton with that kind of stuff right now. But on the same token, this is when you can start seeing how your roof line looks. You know, is it right? Is it wrong? Is your angles right? Should you went this way with that way with this? And stuff like that, you know, the more you paint, stuff like that'll mess with your eyes. If it's not right, you can look at an angle and tell, oh my goodness, that's not right. And if it don't look right to you, chances are it's probably not right, because you're the one painting it. So, and if it don't look right to you, don't get frustrated about it. Just go back and fix it. And if fixing it is a problem, you think you don't know how to fix a problem, well, ask somebody. I mean, that's how I learned. I think that's how everybody learns. You gotta ask if you're having a problem with something. Say, hey man, every time I do a barn or a house, nothing lines up on it right. They have tools for this. I mean, you can buy protractors that will help you tremendously on getting angles and stuff like that right. And if you got to use tools, and you heard somebody say, "Hey, you ain't supposed to do that in art. That's cheating." Don't pay that no attention. If you need a straight edge to draw a straight line, use it. By all means, use it. Crap, don't ever let nobody tell you that art's supposed to be a certain way, because somebody invented art, and I'm sure they done it their way because they didn't have nobody there to tell them another way to do it. So, if you find a way of doing something that makes it easier for you, hey, jump in there and get at it. All right, now we're gonna mix this up a little color here, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll show you with the little knife how much of what I'm gonna do here. All right, I'm gonna go right into the dark sienna. What about? Oh, that's probably about an M&M size. About like so. Then I'm gonna get a little of the yellow ochre, probably an M&M and a Tic Tac full. Then I'm gonna pick up just a little bit. That's probably a quarter of an M&M of the red, and then just a little bit about the same amount of blue, and then about that much white. Then I'm going to take all these colors and I'm going to flip them over, and I'm going to pull that knife through them like that. Just like that, to where they get that marble mixed to them, and I'm done. That's all I want to do. I don't want to sit there and over mix them and get them to where they're not. I just want some different colors there, because I'm fixing to use the same brush that we just built this with. And all I'm going to do to load that brush, well, let me show you that, is I'm going to take that brush and just pull it through the paint. Just straight through the paint on one side only, just like I just did. Then I'm going to come up here, just very, very light pressure, and pull straight down. Pull straight down. Now I know you probably can't even see that. It's probably not even showing up. But I'm gonna do it again. And I'm gonna come on this side and do it. I'm gonna pull straight down. That's all I'm doing, pulling straight down. Straight down. Just like so. That's all I'm doing. And I know what you're thinking. You know, that's awful dark. And you're right, it is. And I want it that way right now, because we are going to come back up here in a few minutes and we're going to fix it. And when we get it fixed, we're going to be happy. And that's what painting's about, being happy. We're doing the same thing with the same color on this side. Just pulling straight down. Straight down. Just like so. Alright. Now, we're going to get just straight white, about that much. And I'm going to bring it out beside that color, and I'm going to lay it down. Since my brush is already loaded with that color, I'm going to lay that brush down and just work that color through my brush, pick up a little bit more and put over there in that same color, and just pull that brush through it, just like we just did. And I'm going to come up here. Now we know under this eave right here, we're going to have a little shadow, even though we don't have a direct light actually defined in this painting yet. We already know that eave right there is going to have to show. So we're going to take this brush with that light color in it and lay it up here at the top and pull it straight down at that angle and get that color to where we can pull it straight down, because it's going to look like that's our eave, to where there's a little shadow under it, and just pull straight down with the same color that we just made. And then if you have to turn your brush sideways, well, that's fine too. And come down on this side. And then pull that color down. If you have to go back and get you a little more of your white, go ahead. or your light color, I mean. Come in there and pull it straight down. Because this is really all we want. We don't really want a light colored barn. We want it to maintain some dark. And then to come across the bottom right here. About like so. Alright. You can almost tell. So I'm going to touch the white, just solid white. And I'm going to come back up here and just throw some streaks in it. Alright, then we'll pick us up just a little bit more of our color we made. And we'll come on this side and pull it straight down. Just like so. And let it work back. Just like so. Alright. Now this next step should let this be seen. We're going to go right into the white, and we're going to pick us up a little blue, and we're going to make a color almost like what you would use if you're doing a mountain shadow. Just like a baby blue color. And then you take some of that Van Dyke brown and put in it, and that's going to gray it down. In fact, it's going to gray it down a good bit. And what you're looking for now is a gray blue kind of color. Grayish blue. And it's going to be kind of dark looking too. It's not real light colored. We're going to bring that color up. And this is what's going to be our roof color. We want a dark colored roof. Something that kind of has a metallic look to it. Kind of like metal. We just don't want it. We just don't want it real bright and shiny. We just want it up there, about like so. And come out here just a little. Get our line right across here, about like so. Then pick up just a little bit more and come from the top on this outside line here and just kind of touch along the edge just to let it know it's going down the other side too. Then we want to pick us up some blue, phthalo blue by itself, and mix it with a little Van Dyke brown, and that'll give us a black color, a dark black color. And then you want to come up and you want to bring this color across here like so and down. What we're doing now is just making us a brush. A brush. Yeah, we're making a door with a brush. Want to give our building a pretty good sized door in case our farmer wants to pull in here with a tractor or something. We want him to be able to get in. About like so. And just pull it down. And if you pull the door down too far, no big deal. We're going to fix all the perspectives here in a few minutes. Alright, now we can get ready to wash that brush. Now the reason I'm not too concerned right now with the color of the barn is because we're going to come back here in a few minutes and we're going to put some darker lines in it. And when we go to putting those darker lines in, it's going to make that color we use really pop. With all this color that we used to pull down a while ago, it's just, you know, I know it's lighter, but it's gonna work out, trust me. Alright, then we want to work on our door here. We want it to come across and down like so. And then over here, we want it straight. Oh boy. I don't want it that straight. I'll fix it right like that. Okay. There we go. Alright. Alright, come across here. Jump off the bottom. The only thing I see wrong right now is this side here is wanting to lean yonder way. And it don't need to, it needs to come straight down. Like so. Alright. Now I'm going to pick up a script liner brush and I'll show you what I meant. We're going to come in here and we're going to get us a dark color. We're going to bring that dark color in here and just start pulling us down some stripes to make it look like wood. Just to make it look like old boards in here. And if you run out, just come up here and get you some more. That's all you got to do. We just want it to look like old boards. Alright, then I'm going to pick up a little more. And I'm going to use this to outline my door with to fix the perspective. Like so. All right. And to make that look the way we want it to look now, we're going to take that 1 inch or that little flat brush we was using. I'm going to come up here and just barely pull down over these lines and just kind of let your brush wiggle a little. Just kind of let it shake. Just let it shake. Kind of give it that look of old wood. Just let your brush shake. I done just about wiped every one of them out, but you can still see them. And that's all you got to do. Just like so. Alright, then to come across here, I don't know if this is going to work out or not, so we may want to start praying. Oh, hopefully it does. We'll try. Alright, I want to pick up some of the blue and brown that we made that black color out of. Or that, I mean, I don't know if it's actually black yet, but it's going to be a good dark color. It'll be dark enough we can get away with what we're fixing to do here. Alright. I want to come right behind the barn here. I want to come down into the barn like so. Then I want to pull this side on down, right behind the roof. Come out like so. Pull this side on down till it gets all the way to the ground. We can go a little higher if we need to. Like so. Come back and pull it down. Bring it around the barn. Just like so. Now if we had to take us another brush here in a minute to get all that closer, we will. Something that'll do a little more finer detail. We can do that. And it looks like we're going to have to. Maybe. Well, that ain't terrible. Alright, then we'll clean that brush. Then I'm going to pick us up one of my, this is just a number 2 round, is all it is. And I'm going to go right into the dark sienna with it. And just roll it around in the paint a little. Then I'm going to come right up here and about middle ways of this, I'm going to come up and I'm going to draw a straight circle down in, a straight line down into it to kind of make it look like a candle. I know what you're thinking. Alright. And then off the side of that candle, I'm going to come down just outside of that corner. Then I'm going to come down off this side of this corner. And I'm going to pull both lines down a little, about like so. And then to join them together, I'm just going to come in here and make a little small U. That's all I'm going to do. Just a little small U. Then I'm going to come back up and I'm going to fill it in with dark sienna. Just fill that color right in. And that gives us that roundness that we need to to make this look like a little silo. Just like so. And then I am going to go back into the dark sienna. And I'm going to bring the dark sienna down over here. And since this has got blue under it, it's going to be a lot darker color. I'm going to bring it down. To the top of our roof right there. And down around the roof. And down around the barn. Just like so. To make it look like it goes right behind the barn. Then we'll put a little more up here, especially under this eave, because we want that to be darker. Remember, you need a difference in color to make something look like it's behind another something. Just like so. And just like that, we kind of have a halo, a silo. Now, in order to fix that roof, we're going to go right back into that color that we used to make it, that dark gray blue color. And we'll just come right up here at the top, and we'll come straight down this line, just like so. And that'll pull that silo right behind the barn, to kind of make it look like our farmer's having to. This is where he's keeping his grain and stuff. And then we just want to maintain this roundness in this top, just to give it a little round flavor here, just like so. Just like that. And to separate the two colors, we'll come up here with a little darker ring around the bottom, like this. And a whole lot darker ring right here, like so. Just like that. And that gives us that old looking silo sitting out there. Then we want to get our 2-inch brush that we had laying over here in our thinner. Beat the devil out of it. And just like we loaded that brush a while ago when we made all this dark color in the brown, we're going to do the same thing with cad yellow. We're just going to pick us up some cad yellow, and it's got some blue in it, which will give us that kind of funny green color. And all our other colors that was mixed together, the yellow ochre and the Indian yellow, all of these colors are kind of mixed together on this brush. And we're going to come right up here, and we want it to be a different color than what our bushes was. And we don't want to kill all the dark under our bushes. We just want to come across here and give ourselves a grass look here. Just by tapping, that's all we're doing. Just tap this grass on, across the front, across the side. Give yourself a little dark back here. And you can see what that brown's doing. That brown is just adding to the effect. Throw in a little more yellow ochre if you need to from time to time. Now this don't have to be the final color that you use, by no means. You can come back a little later and throw in some different colors. But just remember what we said when we started this. We don't want this to be completely summer just yet. So we want some different colors out here, you know, some greens is fine, but we also want some yellows and different colors like that. You know, if you have to throw some green in here and there, that's fine. Ain't gonna hurt it to have a little green in it. We just don't want a lot of green just yet. And depending on what else you want to do up here, you know, I'm going to leave that grass alone for now. Maybe leave it alone, period. I kind of like that color. You can pick that round brush up again. I mean that flat brush up again. You can go back up in here into this dark brown. You come in here and fix your door now. Get that dark color back on it. Because it had a little blue in there. Now that we know where all our lines are. You can pick up any kind of brush to come back here and straighten that up. Just like so. And then our little silo set back there behind the barn. I kind of like that color of that grass. I think about the only thing you'd really have to do is pick up a little white and, you know, just in a couple places through here, just add just a little white just to give it a sunlight effect. And even at that, I don't think it's going to take much here and there. Because one thing we didn't do in this painting is we didn't give ourselves a definitive light source. So and that's actually something I think every painting's supposed to have according to the law. We're gonna get arrested, people. We could come back in here with some highlights if we wanted to and put in a defined spot, but I'm happy with it the way it is. I kind of like the way it turned out. I like that color. Alright. And I think if we find us another flat brush or a round brush, maybe this filbert brush right here, and we come up here and we pull straight down like so, and then maybe skip a space and come over here like so. And come over here and over here like so, we'd have some fence posts in the ground. We can go up in this white, pick us up a little reflection. Now we know the sunlight's coming from yonder way. We do now. And this is fixing to prove it. There's the proof right there. That the sunlight's coming from yonder way. I want this to come around like so. Give us that roundness. And we'll come up and just kind of smooth out that look to make it look like it's got maybe old cobblestones or something in it. About like so. Maybe a little discolor. Help give it that look. Just touch it here and there. It's really too far away to tell what exactly is in it. But as long as it looks like it's got something that it's built out of, that's all that matters. Just a old silo back here. That's all it is. About like so. Alright, then we'll pick up our script liner. And we'll pick us up some brown color. We'll come across here with us a nice little small plank. Across here with one. Get that little hair out there. Alright, then we'll wet this side. We'll come across here with us another little plank. We'll come across here with us another one. Kind of wavy. About like so. Then I'll go in here and get me a little red. And I'll come over here. Well, let's see, I'll go right here between the fence. And I'll put my little H in there. And just like that, we'll call it done. It's a little old barn sitting out there with the nice little tree line behind it. With a pasture that's fixing to turn green. And a fence that needs repair. And a little tree line and a distant tree line. So I'm gonna say we're done with it. I'm happy with it. Hope y'all liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. I've got interviewed by a young lady named Gabby, and she was very friendly. And I've got that posted on my YouTube channel. So if you get a chance, go check her out. And what she's doing is a wonderful thing. She's giving artists a voice to be heard, so people can learn a little about us. So, you know, if you're into that kind of thing, go like her channel and subscribe to it, because all it's going to do is help her out. And it's free to subscribe. I mean, it won't cost you a dime. If you haven't subscribed to mine yet, I'd appreciate it. Subscribe. And if you have any questions at all about anything I do, feel free to ask. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. If you watch the interview, you'll see where I said, I paint to be happy and I paint to show my style. I show what works for me. By no means are you going to learn something here that has to be done a certain way. I mean, it's my way that I do it. And if you find a better way of doing it, then I'm all for that. I just ask that you show me your way, because it might work for me too. I asked a question in the last video about going live. Didn't get many replies on it, so I guess that means y'all don't want to see me go live, which is kind of good. I was about half scared too. I don't know what else to say right now. Well, basically I love you guys and God loves you more. I really hope y'all like this. I'm just going to call it, barn in the field, I guess. I don't name all my paintings. I'm going to do a black canvas painting pretty soon. So, we'll be ready for that one. I've had a couple people mention Northern Lights. So if y'all want to see Northern Lights, let me know. I know there's a lot of YouTube painters doing Northern Lights right now. But if we do it, we'll do something a little different they're doing. Other than that, I'm going to call it a night. Y'all have a blessed night. Thank y'all for joining me. Like, subscribe, and share. That's all I can say. And I appreciate every one of you guys. Thanks a lot.